Hi guys, welcome back to this channel. In this video, I just want to show you how to use API testing with TestBrick. Let's get started with it, right? So the first thing we need to do is add a new file. Usually, adding a new file defaults to UI testing, but now we have a new feature called API testing. So let's just go ahead and work with it. Let's say login flow. Right, create. We want to actually test the login flow. Just give it time. It has already loaded. There are a few things I'm going to be using here. This just shows you the available email that is available here. Yeah, you can actually test with email. We are going to do all the exciting stuff, right? This is an environment variable. We've actually, let me go ahead to create the environment variable again, right? So call it staging, add, right? Then edit the environment variable. Basically get the actual URL. This is the base URL. It's a temporary URL I created just for this demo. Then we call it base URL, right? All right. I think we'll have to pass in a slash API because that's how the API is built. Here, save the variable. Now we can use this variable everywhere in this board. The next thing you want to do is add an API, right? The first API I want to do is login. Don't worry, you can do it anyhow you want to do it, but this is just how I want to test my API. First of all, I need to log in. So it's a post URL. To get my environment variable or any type of variable, just put in these two words, these two curly braces, 1, 2. It will bring out your something that you like. It will suggest the available variables that we have in our environment. Then we'll just click on base URL. I think most people know this already. That's how Postman looks like. Then we pass in login. Usually I'm supposed to pass in slash API, but we actually passed slash API in this staging, right? So we just put login, right? So the next thing we have to do is pass in the body. Now in the body we can basically pass in the email, right? We'll just pass this email. Obviously we can actually create the environment variable for this, but for this test I'm not doing that. Just want to get straight to the nitty-gritty of things. Now I'll pass in the password. Let me get the password, and yeah, we've gotten our password already, right? Let's test this, right? Send. Yeah, so we got in the OTP was sent to your email, right? How do we test email? Remember, TestBrick already have a killer feature that tests emails. All we just have to do is click on email here, and right, email would appear. Right, let me call this particular test login URL. Right, let's call this login URL, and or let's just call it login. Then we'll call this extract email. Then what we need to do is to extract the email, we need to have the email that shows up here first. So let's run it. It should run all. That will run all, and to get our email. Now our email has come through. We need to extract the email. All right. I'll click on this to copy the pattern. Don't just copy the email. So copy the pattern, save. So that pattern has been saved already, right? So we now want to use this particular mail on something else, which is to verify the actual mail. So we'll just pass in add API. We can actually add delay, but this extract email actually has its own delay already built in it. Then we call this verify user or verify OTP. Then we pass in this fun stuff here. I pass it base URL, right? Base URL slash verify OTP. Then all I just need to do is pass in the body, and in the body we have email, right? We'll copy the email. This is becoming stressful to copy the email. Maybe I'll have to add a feature there that will make it easy for you to just pass in something like this easily. The dynamic email, right? So if you need that feature, you just click on this request feature here. It's as easy as that. The next thing I need to pass is the OTP, right? So to get that OTP, it's not tricky. All you just have to do is do these curly braces, right? Do these curly braces. All you just have to do is to get this OTP. All you just have to do is come here, pass in these curly braces, then this is login. Everything that has to do with login, return status text, all these things. We don't need all these things. We need to look for the one that says extract email. We name this extract email, or else it will be called node something something. So in this extract email, we need to get the value. The value is not here. To now get the value, I know we've just extracted the email. We've not necessarily extracted the value. To allow it to follow that value pattern, we just have to run everything for a second, so it will go through, and this is for not found. Obviously that email is not found for now. Then we'll just come here. It has extracted the email, so we'll just come here and try and pass the OTP that was extracted. Now we'll have our value. You see this value, so we click on this value. So it's not necessarily extracting the value itself, it will extract the pattern that is received from that value, if that makes any sense. So let's now run the whole thing all over again. So we can run all. So it will start from login, then start to extract email. We're saying not found. Let's try to do a post. Sorry, it's supposed to be a post request, right? So we'll click on run all. Then we pass in extract. You see, it actually worked because we passed in. Is returning a token. We can actually use this token somewhere else. We can come again and say add API, and maybe want to get the user profile. We'll call this get profile. This video is already getting too long, but we'll just pass in the base URL / profile, right? In this / profile, it basically needs, I think it needs a authentication, right? All you just have to do is go to the headers, pass in the bearer token here. All you just have to do is pass in the verify the token. This should work, and this should work, I guess. Bro, it worked. So that's basically how you do testing in APIs in TestBrick, basically. So is working fine, and you need to share this particular flow in case there's an error or something happen. Maybe let's say there's an error in the URL, right? And you don't know why, or something is failing, maybe 500 error. When you run everything, it's basically go again to run from beginning to end, right? I wanted to show you the share feature, right? The share feature is here. Is that you just click on runs. These are the runs that have happened in the past, right? This one is currently running, and this is the current. This would hold the current stuff that I got to run. So let's just let me just share it and show you. So okay, you see this particular API is showing you 500 error. It's giving me internal server error. I think I stopped the particular flow, but in fact, if you click on this particular, you can see failed to send OTP, timed out. This is even a great thing for the demo to show you how it happens in real time. Basically, once everything has actually run, obviously this is going to fail, this is going to fail, this is going to fail. This is just showing you the error. So if I click on this past run here, you can actually see that it shows every single thing that has to do with it. It shows you everything that was passed, request, the assertion. I even forgot to add assertion. Maybe in another video I'm going to show you how to assert stuff. Like you can assert stuff in terms of like let me close this. You can assert stuff in terms of like the status code. You can assert stuff, different stuff, right? But for now, let's just keep that under the wraps, right? This failed horribly, so you can keep copy this shared, and you'd see everything that failed horribly. This one is saying for not found. So it's saying profile. It's just a lot of error that's showing here, right? So yeah, this is for sharing for your teammate to see what exactly went wrong. All right, so thank you for coming to my TED talk.